Hi everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Coffee with Hiretual. So on today's show, we have Scott Faurot, a talent acquisition partner who's basically seen it all in the recruiting space. A common misconception that he tends to hear a whole lot is that talent acquisition and HR are the same. So he's here to tell us exactly why it's so different. How does talent acquisition stand apart from HR as its own entity, and how is that important, especially as recruiters navigate new relationships with candidates, especially in these volatile times? Stay tuned to the rest of our conversation to find out what Scott thinks, and of course, let us know what your opinions are too. Okay, so Scott, welcome to Coffee with Hiretual. Let's get right into it. Why don't you tell all our viewers a little bit more about yourself, what you do, and how your journey has been in the talent acquisition space?
Yeah, Happy New Year to you and welcome to 2021. I've had a unique approach to my recruiting career. I began my career on the agency side, like so many other recruiters have, running a full desk, filling both positions, looking for candidates as well as looking for relationships to build with clients, and certainly looking to fill their most difficult roles. I've spent 14 years on the agency side before I was contacted by an opportunity at Google to be a contract recruiter. So I gladly accepted that position. Worked at Google as a contract recruiter. I was flying up there on Mondays and working all week up there, and then flying back to the family in San Diego on Friday nights, and did that for through my entire completion of the assignment. Finished the contract there, came back to San Diego, picked up a contract with a corporate entity here as a pseudo startup mode. Helped them grow to some new heights. After 10 months, I was converted from a full-time employee, or from a contract employee to a full-time employee. And at the tail end of that 2.5 years, the senior leadership from the software team was leaving. They left, secured new opportunities, and recruited me out. So I've been with my current company now for 4 years, and I hire strictly technical talent for our organization.
I know that you also talked about the reason why talent acquisition is very different from HR. It's not just a post and pay approach. You're not just
Right,
waiting for people to come in through the door.
right,
Talent acquisition professionals are actively going out there. They're building these relationships, and oftentimes these candidate relationships are very long term.
right.
They don't just happen in a couple of days. They happen in a couple of months. It's a whole
They sure
nurturing
do.
sequence. And that leads into my next question, which is something that we've definitely talked about before. What do you think are the key responsibilities of talent acquisition professionals, especially when navigating the job market in the coming months, as we're preparing for this new year?
It's a great question. So let me expand a little bit on talent acquisition, the definition of talent acquisition. Acquiring and securing talent is really kind of a crude definition. It's so much more than that. Talent acquisition really is the drivers of raising the bar for talent. So when we raise the bar, we talk about the soft skills behind that. What do they bring to the organization as far as ambition and curiosity and just that ability to be a future leader? But let's dive into your question about what really is the single component or the components that really talent acquisition people need to focus on, and that's relationships. One of the things I think that set me apart in the last 22 years has been the ability to forge great relationships with vendors, with peers, with other recruiters, with executives. And I think it's getting harder and harder in this COVID era to maintain those relationships. It really is. It's much easier now with social media. You have LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram. So I make it a point every single day for about 30 to 45 minutes to reach out to my network and say hello. If it's been a while and I haven't talked to someone, then shame on me, but I need to get that relationship started again. Maybe it's a birthday, maybe it's an anniversary, a work anniversary, or maybe even a wedding anniversary. When you respond to those people and send them a greeting, an acknowledgement of, hey, you're aware of them in the universe, it's amazing when they come back and say thanks. I've had many people come back and say thanks, and I continued with, hey, how are you doing? How's so-and-so? How's the family? How are you living in such and such a location? But one instance actually turned into an interview. I actually wished the guy a happy birthday several years ago, and it turned into an exchange and ultimately had several interviews with his organization. So long story short, it didn't go anywhere, but that's just a perfect example of building those relationships and taking that time out of the day just to say hi.
Mhm. And I love that you mentioned relationships. So let's dial in a little bit more on this idea of relationships, specifically the candidate relationships. So in one of our initial conversations, you told me that if it's a no, it's a not yet. So I'm
Right.
curious. So if a candidate doesn't fit into a bucket right now, as a recruiter, what's next? What do you do?
And it's tough for us to pick up the phone. It's tough for great recruiters to pick up the phone and tell this person that they didn't make the cut. So, so this is basically self-preservation that I come up with this. So it's not a no, it's just a not yet. That's the phrase. It's not a no, it's just a not yet. It's we don't want to say no to you forever. You're a silver medalist. We want to keep you in our clutches for future opportunities that might be right up your alley. So that's really the no. It's not a no. It's just a not yet mentality. I've had so many candidates come back to me and say, Scott, thank you for letting me down easy. The no, not yet is such a unique approach. So I would encourage you to adopt that in some of your dispositions or some of your declinations.
You know, it's a brand new year. 2020 kind of passed by in the blink of an eye. And for a lot of people, we just kind of want to forget it. We want to start fresh. We want to hit that reset button this year. So why don't you tell our viewers, what are you most looking forward to about talent acquisition in 2021? And what advice do you have for all recruiters out there who are excited to hit that reset button, but they're super nervous that it's not going to work out exactly as planned?
But I wish I had a crystal ball. I would like to take out of 2020 some of the best points and best practices that we all learned from working from home and implement them in 2021 and remove some of the things that didn't work. So as we continue to get better, we continue to evolve as talent acquisition professionals. I've got 5 key ingredients I want to get to in just a minute. But I want to get back to seminars. I want to get back to meeting people in person. I want to go back to coffee meetings. I want to get back to meeting my hiring managers for intake meetings face to face. There's so much that body language does and has for us that we're missing because we're working at home or working in a virtual environment. But let's get into those 5 pearls of wisdom or some of those tips for you. One of the things I want you to focus on is we talked about relationships this whole session. Number 1 is build relationships wherever and whenever you can without intent. Go into an opportunity to meet someone on their level playing field like we talked about and understand them. Number 2, be grateful for other people's hard work. If you recognize something awesome in someone's work, mention it to them. We're so busy and we're so focused on the transactions, right? We're so busy on the speed that we forget to say thank you. We forget to say great job. You've done fantastically well. Number 3, go the extra mile every single time. Many hiring managers have complimented me on the ability that I have to assess an intake meeting, what exactly we're looking for. And I'll go over and above that by bringing them a couple other qualities that will, again, raise the bar for the candidate in the organization. Make sure you go the extra mile every single time in all of your pursuits. Number 4, be respectful of the shortage of everyone's time, the incredible shortage of everyone's time. Everyone's busy. Everyone has the same amount of time to do their work. But make sure you spend some time to seek out the answers that you're looking for before coming to your mentor and bombarding them with a question. It's better to learn by trying all these different areas and then really shortcutting that learning process by potentially picking it up on your own. And lastly, work hard knowing that you're serving humanity well. This is a very noble profession. Think about how many people that you can impact. If you impact one person, they have a sphere of influence around them. Let's call it a wedding list, or if you will, a sphere of influence that's about 150 to 200 people. Think about how if you uplift that one person's life, you give them better responsibilities, you give them better pay, they're going to build a family, they're going to affect the community, they're going to affect their sphere of influence. So if you've had the opportunity to share or to uplift 10,000 people's lives, think about how the world is a better place. Think about how noble that profession is. When you go into your meetings with your hiring managers and you go in to meet with your executives, take with you that knowledge that what you do is noble work. And with that, those are all my tips for 2021.